What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So we finally did it. We made a Mixer page, so if you're already on Mixer or you think about going over there after Ninja moved over, you could follow us there. I'll link down below in the description. And what we'll be doing at first are things like the podcast. We'll stream it on YouTube and we'll also stream it on Mixer just in case anyone prefers it over there and see how things kind of go. And possibly we might move into some game streaming and some other stuff that we have planned out in the future. But just know we do have a Mixer page. It'll be down in the description pretty much going forward, just in case you want to follow us there. You can. As for today, well, we do of course have the Pokemon information coming out, but yesterday we had some interesting things happening because Gamescom keeps growing. In fact, you're going to want to see how big this is getting, and it looks like Sega's even going to be showing up with their own big, according to them, AAA game that we have not seen yet. This is going to be a first-time reveal, so interesting stuff there. As always, guys, enjoy these videos. Make sure you hit the like button. It does help out, and get subscribed so you can stay up to date on all the latest gaming news that just seems to happen constantly in the gaming world. We're actually going to start today with Gears 5. Now, of course, Gears 5 is coming up, and of course, Microsoft decided, hey, let's do a system. And that's the thing I'll give Microsoft a ton of credit. Their custom systems are great, and their custom controllers also look great. In fact, this one, I think, looks awesome. Like, check this out. This is their Gears 5 custom Xbox One console, and it's available for pre-order today for $499. It's going to come with like all the Gears of War games. Gears of War 5 Ultimate Edition, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, Gears of War 2, Gears of War 3, Gears of War 4. It has a really nice design. Looks like the kind of the Gears symbol is underneath ice, and then the controller kind of has that ice look to it as well with kind of the blue under the thumbsticks. I really like the look of that, and they do have pre-orders going on now, and it's going to be available the first week of September, and it looks good. I know Microsoft doesn't have the most games in the world, but I'll give them credit. When a game comes out, they do a good job celebrating it with controllers and systems, and this is no exception. We also found out when the Grandia HD collection is going to be out, and well, it's sooner than I thought it would be, specifically from the announcement. Now, of course, we had found out about it a little while ago. We heard more at E3, including some screenshots and some video even, and now we know it's coming out on the 16th. Yeah, it's like less than 10 days away, which is weird. That is almost like a surprise shadow drop kind of thing where it just shows up and they're like, oh yeah, it's out now. A little suspicious there. Unfortunately, this has gone from surprise, exciting announcement, and I'm a little concerned as to why it's turned into this almost surprise announcement. We saw some screenshots, we saw some video, and it wasn't looking the best. Now, they do say that the sprites and the UI and stuff has better detail to it, and it's going to be classic Grandia, so if you like the older Grandia games, you should obviously like this here. You can kind of replay through it, but I was hoping they'd do a bit more. However, we'll still see more information about it in the next 10 days or so leading up to release, and I'm sure I'll be checking it out here. Also, we had talked about WWE 2K20 a bit, and it looks like there's gonna be a change of development here, and this caught me off guard because it's a pretty big deal, as it looks like Yuke's is actually splitting off from 2K. Now, Yuke's has been working pretty much with wrestling games for a long, long time, like 20 years. It's been forever. I always remember that Yuke's logo popping up. Well, it looks like that's not going to be the case, at least with 2K anymore. There was a statement put out saying, WWE 2K20 will be developed by Visual Concepts, who have worked with Yuke's on the development of the series since WWE 2K14. As we've continued to invest in WWE 2K franchise, we've seen the Visual Concepts team display incredible passion, talent, and commitment to the future of the series. We thank Yuke's for their years of partnership and are excited to see what the Visual Concepts team brings to the franchise moving forward. And this is interesting because it sounds like Yuke's and Visual Concepts had conflicting ideas at times from what we've heard before with some rumors, and I think this is going to be good for 2K in general to have just one team in there developing, but it sounds like Yuke's was already working on a new IP for a wrestling game before, and there's a promotion that I believe is kind of up and coming right now. Wouldn't it be interesting if all of a sudden Yuke's announced that they were working on an AEW game? I think that would get some people pretty excited. Is that gonna be what actually happens? That's the question now. Either way, Yuke's being able to do what they want, could end up benefiting them heavily. And like I said, 2K kind of eliminating the amount of people, companies working in development on just the WWE series might also be good. This might be good for everyone. And guys, some of the quickies out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. We're going to start right away with Sega and this new AAA game that apparently is going to be shown at, you guessed it, Gamescom. Gamescom is shaping up to be a pretty big convention this year. Now, generally it's pretty large, but I don't remember this many companies showing up. We're going to go over that a bit more. I kind of wanted to focus on Sega because they have made it very, very known right now to press in a PR statement that you'll have a look at something what they consider AAA. Unannounced AAA title, visitors will be treated to a first-hand look at an all-new AAA game that is yet to be revealed to the public. This was part of the PR statement that you're seeing here that also outlined that they will be there with Catherine Full Body, 2 Point Hospital, and then the Sega Genesis Mini or Mega Drive Mini. And well, there's speculation running wild right now. Of course, we saw the trademark that we talked about here in Newswave for the Knights trademark, and I don't think it's Knights, to be honest. Now, look, this is a game that Sega considers AAA, and unfortunately, that description means different things to all different companies. Ubisoft seems to think that it means that you have to put in $40 to $50 million into development and marketing for it to be considered AAA. And of course, I guess Activision, EA could be thinking similar things. Sega doesn't have that kind of money to just throw into one game. Just to be fair, that we've seen the reports for their financials and everything. In fact, the last one they put out wasn't great, but they did give us a hint as to what was coming in the future, and I think that can pretty much tell us what we're going to see here. I have an idea of what's going to happen. Now, they've already told us that there would be either Yakuza, Persona, or Sonic as games that they are going to focus down into, as they don't want to spread, I guess, the diversity of their games out too much, as it could lead to a lot of financial strain. So my thought here is most likely it's either going to be a Sonic game or a Yakuza game, and they've already told us that there is a new Yakuza game that's in development, so I feel like most likely it's going to be that. Could it be a Sonic game? Yes, in fact, that's also very possible. What if they show up in a Sonic Adventure 3? I mean, while that might not be a AAA game to everyone, in fact, I wouldn't look at Sonic Forces and say, yep, that's a AAA game right there. I mean, I just wouldn't. They didn't even sell it for full price, right? So it's hard to put it on that level. You could say AA, I guess, technically, but to Sega, yeah, that might have been a AAA game. So I'm either between a Sonic or Yakuza, and I'm leaning towards Yakuza, to be honest. So we're going to see what happens here, but isn't it exciting to be talking about like Sega with a new big game coming out that they're going to announce there? Sonic, it was what, 2017 when Forces came out? Yeah, I guess it's about time for another Sonic game to at least be revealed. Doesn't mean it's coming out anytime soon. It could come out in 2020. Sonic Adventure 3, that's my hope. Another Yakuza is my feeling, though. Next up, let's talk about the digital future, but not in a good way. See, we know, of course, we're heading towards a future where games will all be digital, and that's how you buy them. You don't buy them in stores. But we constantly see examples of games being delisted, and, well, you're unable to get them. And one, of course, that everyone talks about is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. That's an obvious one. But now we have another one to add to the list, and that's DuckTales Remastered, which I think makes sense at this point with Disney going crazy with a lot of the IPs and everything. Yeah, DuckTales Remastered appears to be being ripped down. Capcom actually put this page out here and gave us an idea as to when you can look forward to it just disappearing from the store. So we have a couple different ones here. We have the Wii U August 9th. It's going to be pulled down. Same for PlayStation 3. You also have Xbox 360, Xbox One via backwards compatibility on August 8th. And then Steam. Yeah, that's right. Steam's not even safe. They just say 4:59 p.m., so that might just be gone already. But, of course, the good news here with DuckTales Remastered, it was released physically, and that's what we need. Like, if Scott Pilgrim vs. the World was a physical copy right now on the Xbox 360 and it had backwards compatibility, we'd all still be playing it. You know, it wouldn't even be that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, it would be like, oh, it's a shame they pulled it, but at least we could still play it. Think about that, though, going forward as companies continue to do things like forego an entire physical release. We saw Wolfenstein Youngblood do that for the Switch completely. And that's why places like limited run games, I think, are so important. Games like Golf Story and Windjammers, for example, were, of course, taken and put on physical cartridges. And on the flip side of all of this, if you look at just the services, Microsoft and Xbox Live actually went down for hours yesterday to the point where you couldn't even play any games that were linked to DRM, which actually are quite a few of them. In fact, most people couldn't even access their dashboard or their games because it was down for so long and the system wasn't able to communicate to the servers. So yes, the digital future still has a lot to work out, and because of that, I don't think we're as close to that as a lot of us kind of believe now. And you see these delistings, you see your system just not even able to be used really, and it's concerning. Next up, we'll talk about Gamescom, because it looks like some of these companies, they're going all out here. There are just a ton of companies showing up. All right, so Stadia is gonna be there. Stadia is gonna have a full, their own direct or state of play type thing. Here's the tweet that you're actually seeing here. Let's do it again on 8/19. So August 19th, Stadia Connect is back and bigger than ever. That's right, they call it the Stadia Connect. Tune in at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. CEST for all the details. Then come get hands-on with the future of gaming for yourself at our Gamescom booth. I'm not really sure what Stadia is going to show to get people really excited unless they have, actual exclusives. This is, I would say, the biggest thing is they need games that will pull people in, not games you can find everywhere else, considering we know now that those games are full price and will be the same wherever you buy them, except one it's streaming, the other one it's local play. Anyway, though, Jeff Keighley also tweeted out this list that you're seeing here that has world premiere content and announcements, and these are more than 15 game publishers. And here's the thing, they're gonna have a whole live streaming show on August 19th. It's gonna be during the day. It's opening night there, but in the US for me and everything, it's during the day at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And let's go down the list here, guys. 2K, Activision, Bandai Namco, Bungie, Capcom, Electronic Arts, Epic Games, Google Stadia. We have Koch Media with Deep Silver, of course, with THQ Nordic, who is also going to be there in full force, it seems. A private division, Sega, Square Enix, Sony Interactive Entertainment, THQ Nordic, GmbH, Ubisoft, Xbox Game Studios, and more. We do know that Nintendo is also going to be there, but they may not have massive announcements or really anything too new, other than just show off stuff that we kind of already know about, but they want to show it off more. But yes, Gamescom, with the big three being there, Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, and then you have tons of these supporting, the supporting cast essentially. But I mean, Sega, we just talked about the AAA game, and it's exciting stuff. You know what? I think I am going to stream it that day when it happens, kind of their opening night stream that Jeff Keighley's going to run. He said that people on Twitch are able to co-stream it and everything, so I assume it's okay for YouTube and all of that. And we're going to see what happens, because THQ Nordic is going to show up there with some new games. Time Splitters, please. Sega's going to show up there with most likely a Sonic game or Yakuza game. Square and Bandai Namco. It's going to be some exciting stuff, so I'm looking forward to it. And with E3 on the decline, we kind of need another big convention to look forward to, and maybe Gamescom can eventually really rise up and become that next E3. It's already kind of big, but maybe it can get to that next level. We'll see. And our last bit of news, let's talk about loot boxes, but not in a bad way. I know, right? Let's talk about loot boxes, and it's a bad thing that's happening. Let's talk about a good thing happening in loot boxes, and that's Rocket League just removing them. Well, they're going to remove the randomized chance, according to them, and from what I've seen, this is something similar that happened with Fortnite and Save the World, where they kind of removed, they have X-ray llamas, and you can see, I guess, what you would be buying, and it makes sense considering Epic Games bought Psyonix and Rocket League and everything, but they put out a blog post that they'd be eliminating the need to, what you do is you get crates, and then you buy keys to open the crates, and then you get randomized stuff. Cosmetic stuff, all of that for your cars, but it looks like they're just going to be removing the randomness to it, so you can see what you'd be getting, and you don't have to worry about, I guess, getting the same thing or getting something you don't want. You can take a look. If you don't want it, you back out, and I guess you come back later or something, but I like this approach rather than the whole slot machine gambling randomized factor, and I'm going to be curious if EA ever has to do the same thing. Can they survive without the randomness? That's the question. I think Rocket League can. In fact, I think people will be really happy about this, and who knows, maybe they'll buy more. Although they won't be getting taken for a ride with all of the randomness and the junk that you get out of loot boxes, 80% of the time. But hey, EA, maybe you should, take a page out of Psyonix's book, the Epic Games book, because while people don't like their storefront, I at least like what they're doing with these loot boxes and just kind of getting rid of the random factor to it. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day, as you're seeing here from Giraffe on a Bench. It says, okay, listen to me. Imagine watching an E3 live presentation on YouTube, but at the end of the live stream, Google Stadia will ask you if you want to pay $1 to play the E3 showroom demos. I actually think that would work well if a company sponsored it. So let's say something brand new is showed off from CD Projekt Red. It's Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's already on Stadia, or just this is just an example, right? I mean, take any PC game or any big third-party game, a Call of Duty even, and part of the showroom experience is that you just play it on Stadia. You click a button and bam, there you go. And that would be good for marketing. That would be good, to be honest, to just eliminate the need for E3, because your hands-on time could just be at home for as long as you want. Think about that. You don't stand in line. You don't do any of that stuff. You just click a button and bam, you're playing. I think a lot of people would prefer that. That is a very creative idea there, Giraffe, and I think that's the kind of stuff Stadia should be used for, not necessarily buying into these games, although that's where they're probably getting their money, but having contracts with companies to provide those kind of experiences where they can kind of let people try the games out like that at trade shows. Interesting idea, though. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit the like button, it really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's the Sega AAA game. What are they showing up to? You think they're going to throw a curveball and they have, like, you know, Jet Set Radio or something ready for us? That'd be cool, but is it AAA? That's the question. Also, what about Gamescom? What are you expecting out of this? Because I'm actually getting pretty hyped for Gamescom, more than I remember last year, and I'm hoping we see some really cool games coming out of it. Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.